Why do some leaders inspire fierce loyalty, while others breed resentment and silent hatred every time they try to help? Most people operate under a massive illusion. They believe that leadership is a matter of control, that if you want someone to improve, you have to force them into line. But nearly a century ago, Dale Carnegie realized that the most powerful leaders operate completely differently. They never force people to change. Instead, they cultivate an environment where people actually want to change. Recognizing the gap between trying to control someone and creating that internal desire changes the objective of every conversation. You stop trying to win the argument and start trying to win the person. Think about the best teacher you ever had, or a boss, a mentor who genuinely shaped your life. Did they guide you through fear or through a sense of understanding? Most of us grow up experiencing the exact opposite. We are subjected to constant criticism, barked orders, harsh judgment. That becomes our baseline for what authority looks like. Over time, this style of leadership does invisible damage. It erodes a person's confidence, suffocates their creativity, and breaks their trust. Carnegie understood a core behavioral truth. Human beings will instinctively, relentlessly resist humiliation, but they respond powerfully to encouragement. Moving away from a mindset of offense allows you to address the behavior without creating a permanent enemy. It is the necessary starting point for any attempt to guide others. When someone feels attacked, they become instantly defensive, blocking out logic. Direct criticism almost always fails. But effective leaders begin with sincere appreciation. Acknowledging good work lowers emotional resistance, bypassing that reflex. A blunt attack on a mistake damages a person's identity, but leading with appreciation protects their dignity, creating an environment where they grow faster. This brings us to Carnegie's second rule: criticize indirectly. The human ego is incredibly fragile. We deeply hate feeling publicly exposed or shamed. People do not inherently resist change. They do not hate improving. What they resist is the humiliation of being directly, forcefully corrected. One of the fastest ways to remove emotional pressure from the room is to talk about your own mistakes first. Before correcting someone, admit your failures. When a boss acts perfect, it creates distance. Nobody likes taking advice from someone who pretends to have no flaws. Humility and vulnerability create an immediate connection. Autonomy is a basic human need. When you constantly issue commands like, "do this," people emotionally disconnect. Great leaders replace orders with questions, asking, "What do you think is the best solution?" When a person helps formulate the solution, they no longer view it as an order, but as a personal commitment to be kept. But all that trust can be destroyed in an instant through public embarrassment. Mocking mistakes in a meeting ruins trust instantly. Protecting someone's dignity by correcting privately and respecting publicly is a sign of high emotional intelligence. It allows the person to focus on the problem rather than the pain of the insult. Many people think they're helping their teams when they're unconsciously causing emotional damage, simply repeating toxic leadership habits they experienced growing up. Think of how your workplace, your relationship with your children, or your marriage would change if you consistently chose to inspire instead of shame. People eventually become what they are repeatedly told they are. If a child is constantly called lazy, they eventually believe it. This is how identity is reinforced. Instead of demanding perfection, great leaders celebrate small progress. When people feel that their improvement is noticed, they gain the momentum needed to continue. When you define someone by their potential rather than their worst mistakes, they often work to align their behavior with that new identity. You are giving them a reputation to live up to. Finally, Carnegie emphasizes that people are motivated by a sense of contribution. They want to know that their work holds value beyond just completing a task. Fear only creates temporary obedience. When you help people feel connected to a mission, that sense of value creates permanent commitment. Decades ago, Dale Carnegie discovered a truth that many still fail to grasp today. True leadership is not about wielding power. It is about understanding human emotion. It is about protecting dignity, encouraging growth, helping people become better versions of themselves without ever making them feel small. The strongest leaders are not those who dominate the room. They are the ones who leave everyone else in the room feeling more capable. So here's a challenge for you. The next time someone makes a mistake, force yourself to pause before criticizing. Ask yourself the filtering question: will my words build this person or break them? If you want to master the psychology and communication found in timeless books like this one, subscribe to Brain Library. One conversation handled with dignity can save a relationship. One shifted perspective can change how you lead for the next decade.